they would start going into negative and they're like, oh, I know you don't want to hear this. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you're self-correcting now because I'm not tolerating that. You tell people what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. And I'm not going to tolerate that because I know that it's going to affect me. I know it's going to affect my day. I know it's going to affect my mind. I know it's going to affect my body. That energy is powerful. It's powerful. Energy in food. You can eat some foods and you just immediately afterwards, it brings your energy down. Some foods, it brings your energy up. So after you consume it, you have more energy. It fuels you. Instead of it depleting you, which is equivalent to it taking gasoline from your car or taking something, oil or whatever that your car needs, and it's extracting it from the car. And so therefore the car is not as optimal. But then you have things that infuse the nutrients, the vitamins into, and it's operating on a high level and a high energy level. And then you get in on that. You get to have a piece of that. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? If the kids, they take FCATs and all these different testing things at school, I find it interesting though, because when they're going to do that, I find it interesting that the school sends something home saying, yeah, they're going to be doing this testing series next week. And so they, give rules as far as make sure you don't come on the campus during the time that they're going to be testing. Make sure you help the kids tuck them in at night at a decent time so they can get enough sleep. And then they say, make sure you're giving them healthy foods around that time so that they could be optimal. But isn't that amazing? Like, shouldn't that be every day? They have school every day. So those rules and those guidelines, really, how come they can't be distributed every day or at the beginning of the school year as this is what we promote, this is what we desire, so this is what we want you guys to do and help parents help the children, assist the children in making it a lifestyle instead of an occasion. Okay, the occasion is the testing, so help them be optimal during the testing with good sleep and proper nutrition. Isn't that interesting? Energy is everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's affecting you right now. One thing that you guys may hear me say on the show a lot, especially at the end, I say it a lot. I'll say, I enjoyed having your energy, and I hope you enjoy my energy, because I know the power of energy. And I know that right now, you're not saying a word. Obviously, if you put something in chat and you post something, then that's energy as well. But even if you don't post anything in the chat feature and you just listen, I'm being affected by your energy. Okay? It's transmuting. You're being affected by my energy. How awesome is that? We're on a call. We're listening either via the computer or the phone or a headset. And we can benefit from each other's energy. 2 is better than 1. So the more that we have, the more synergy, the more powerful we are. So that means that if you're listening and you're in California and somebody else is listening and they're in Chicago, then we all benefit from one another. So the person in Chicago, Illinois benefits from the person in LA as well, from their energy that's on the call. If you come on the call with an open mind and you're listening with an open mind and you're ready to allow it to help you to blossom, that same energy of wanting that growth and wanting to move onward and upward with like-minded individuals, it's affecting all of us. If you leave and you feel more hopeful, you feel more inspired, we all as a whole are more inspired. That's why a lot of times I tell people, hey, because I know that my personality is unique, and so I tell people, look, if it's to the point where it's a complete turn off for you, you find me completely too outrageous or obnoxious or whatever adjective you want to put in, it's really best that you not listen to my material, read my material, because that means every time I put something out there and you come in contact with it in any way, then that means you're putting a negative energy into it. Maybe you're a cynic. Maybe you have these feelings of resentment or anger. Then I don't want that. I'd rather have people who are open-minded. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, because nobody's perfect in order for us to all benefit from one another's energy. It doesn't mean we have to be perfect. It just means, and that's why I use the word open-minded a lot, it just means that we're in a process of focusing on our growth and the arrow going up more than we're focusing on our decline and negativity and the arrow going down. That's all it means, is that we're choosing to focus more on that up arrow. And when you bring that to the table, then we're all benefiting. Energy. Do you let people zap you of yours? Have you ever made a comment like, well, I was doing fine until... Because that means that you're allowing somebody to zap your energy. And I will have to just jump in and say this, and that is sometimes we do it to ourselves. Sometimes it is the other person, flat out, okay? You can't deny certain situations. But there are times where it's really not the other person, it's just ourselves. So let's say it's a situation where you have jealous feelings over someone. That person really didn't do anything bad to you. That person could say, oh my goodness, it's a beautiful sunny day. And you're all like, oh, here she goes again, always trying to say the sun is shining. So do you notice how that person didn't do anything? There's nothing wrong with them. In that case, you just have to check yourself. Because that means that their light is shining and you are being annoyed by their light instead of letting yours shine also. Okay? Because we all have it. We all have this light, like when we were little, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. That's powerful. That's what you want to do. You want to let your light shine. Because we feed off that energy, just like when the sun shines, we feed off the energy and the rays of the sun. We have benefits from it. Everything in nature has benefits from that sun shining like that. Even though it's far, 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 far away, it still radiates, permeates all the way through everything down here that has energy. Everything. Okay? So that's what you do. Every time you walk, I'm talking, even if somebody accidentally bumps into your shoulder, boom, excuse me, sorry. That was energy that just exchanged. You just exchange. It's like if you make a financial transaction and a financial exchange, we're making energy exchanges all day long. We're making energy exchanges. So it's important that what we permeate and what we give off from within is the right energy, because it's for our own good and it's the good of others. That's why it's so funny. You just never know. A lot of times I say, you're making a difference in the world. Sometimes people think that the only way they would make a difference in the world is if they're actually going to do something specific. No. You're making a difference in the world every second of every second of every second. You've heard the old saying where someone called you and you're like, oh my goodness, I was just thinking about you. Or I just had a hunch to call you too. And that person did it. And what do they call it? They call it a coincidence. but really you sent off that energy and it reached that person. You sent off that energy and they got it. Think of it like a transmitter. Okay? Like a radio. There's how do you think you have cable in your house? Okay? There's all this energy and these things that's going on that we can't see, but it's reaching everybody all at once because of its power. How do you think you could be on the phone and talk to someone from St. Louis, Missouri, and talk to someone in China? How is that possible? How is that possible? Think about those old movies where they had a can and a string connecting two cans, and that's how the person was talking. No. We're able to do that because of energy that permeates. It's powerful. And that's how we're able to talk on the phone. That's how we're able to take advantage of cable. That's how we're able to take advantage of the radio and things that we don't necessarily see, but it's allowing us to do something. We're deriving some type of power from it. This really is a deep show today. It's so deep. I told you at the beginning that this fascinates me beyond belief because so much of my life I spent not knowing that there was energy in everything and that I was affected by it and I was affecting others by it, positively or negatively. And so the best thing to do so you can make the most of your energy is to I have a picture, an image that I have on my wallpaper on my phone. And it's a simple image that I wrote on a piece of paper. I made this little illustration on a piece of paper, and I look at it frequently because I just needed to be reminded that it's just this simple. It's an arrow, a long arrow going up the page. And so there's an arrow pointing up to the top, and then it's connected and it goes down, and there's an arrow pointing down to the bottom. And then there's one line that goes horizontally across the whole sheet of paper. The arrow that's going to the top says positive, create. The arrow that's pointing to the bottom says negative, destruct. One at the top says love. One at the bottom says fear. So I kind of have this visual. Basically, the easiest way to focus on it is just positive and negative. And then the arrow that's going horizontally just says expectation. Expectation. Thoughts, words, actions. Because that helps me to remember easily and quickly that all of that stuff, all of my thoughts, all of my words, all of my actions, all of my expectations, at every moment are either positive or negative. They're either building me up or tearing me down. They're either giving or taking away. They're either producing love or fear. That's it. So when you look at it like that, it's so simple, and every moment you can check yourself. Every moment you can ask yourself that question. Is this positive or negative? Is this life or death? Is this love or fear? Is this constructive or destructive? Am I creating right now? Because the energy is going to be there every second of every second. Just like, I don't care that you can't see it. It's going to be there every second of every second. So you want to apply it and use it and benefit from it. And it is contagious. It will help people. So you don't see the person that's negative and assume that you didn't affect them. You left them with a piece of it. You planted a little baby seed, so that's okay. That's okay. You planted a little seed. And then you dust it off your shoulder to make sure that what they tried to infuse you with, that negative energy, that you immediately not let it stick to you. Not let it stick to your thoughts, not let it stick to your body, not let it stick to your emotions. You immediately get rid of it by focusing on creating and the positive arrow and the positive energy. So that lady at Calistoga didn't cause me to leave the